GG.
That's my friend! And you're found you!
30, 30, 40. Finally. I think 2 weeks ago I talked about how I'll talk about this a little bit more in depth, but let's go. Having the let's just dive right in, okay? The 30, 30, 40 rule. The idea behind it, let's just say this, is that in League of Legends there is a level of variance. I have a video on that as well if you want to check it out. But what it essentially boils down to is that you don't have the full control of everything happening, right? In chess, in a 1v1, you have full control. There's zero variance in a way. Yep, there's zero variance. So there's no terrain that's gonna hinder you randomly. There's no teammates that gonna hinder you randomly. There's no variance. But in many team sports, there is variance. And also, where the idea from the explanation comes from is from poker directly, because poker always has variance. You're getting random cards, right? And similar in League of Legends, you're getting random teammates and random enemies. Also, the terrain is random from time to time, and the buffs that spawn are random, dragon buffs. So with this variance, that means you cannot win every single game. It's impossible. Okay, nobody can do it. And that's been shown over many years, you know. Even the best players in the world, if they start in a new account and they start in gold or silver, you know, silver MMR, or like gold MMR, I don't know where new accounts start, but let's say they start there, and they playing perfect till, or like close to perfect until they reach challenger, they usually have a 70% win rate. And that's the highest that can be achieved in a way, consistently. If you take 100 challengers, their average would be about 70% win rate, you know, getting to challengers. Some are gonna have 80%, some are gonna have 60%. It is what it is. That's just the variance, you know. And that's why 30, 30, 40 rule exists. It comes from 30% of the time you will automatically win the game. Just because your team is so much better, you can't lose. 30% of the time you're gonna automatically lose, because your team is so much worse that even if you're completely fed, you cannot carry against 5 other fed people on the enemy team. That's just how it works. And the 40% is your window of control. That is where you can shine. If you are fed, you play the game properly, you will win these 40% games, right? But that is where the skill of League gets very difficult, because this 40%, it doesn't just mean you win your lane, okay? This 40% winning it, the whole 40%, if you win every single game of 40% games, you are one of the best players in the world, right? Like, I think people misunderstand it, like, in a way, because in this 40%, there's every single skill that can be in League of Legends. There's all the value, all of everything we talked about on this channel so far, basically, that relates to winning a game or losing a game. It goes into this. Like, you know, I don't know if it's very clear. I wrote down 2 thingies for the 30%. I wrote down, some games your team is just massively better due to many factors, which means you win even if you go 0-20. Some games your team is just massively worse due to many factors, which means you lose even if you go 20-0. Some games are slower, in which you can have more impact and quote-unquote carry. That's the 40%, you know? That is the point. Having the better team is important, and that happens on average every second game. In reality, over 1,000 of games. That's not how it seems, but that is the actual reality, you know? And the 40%, how can I explain that makes sense? Basically, nobody besides like the top 100 players will win all of these 40%ers until they get challenger. So there's maybe 100 people in the world who can just win these 40% games. And people don't really understand it. Like, in reality, what happens for most people, okay? 30% are lost, 30% are won. And then from this 40%, You win 20% and you lose 20%. Is that like arriving at you right now? I don't know if that's very clear. I don't know if it's very difficult to grasp. I don't know why I feel like it's difficult to grasp. Maybe it's easy, maybe it's difficult. I can't really tell. But most people 50-50 this. And that is why you have a 50% win rate. That's how it works, you know? That's how the system tries, that's where the system tries to put you. So only if you're massively better than the people you're playing with could you even win the 40%. And if you want to climb, you need to win 21% of the 40% in a way, you know, like as a slice. If you imagine a pie, you know, 30% lost, 30% won, 21% you want to win from the other 40% of the pie, and 19% are going to be lost. That's just how it works. And then you have to imagine like 100 pies. And they're all being cut in different ways, you know? And on average, you want to have the last 40% part of the pie be cut into 21 and 19 parts. That's how you climb. As a little bit better player than what your elo suggests, which means you are climbing and you are getting to your new elo. Okay? And sometimes you're just gonna win more, you know? Because if you understand this, then some of the situations make more sense. You can have a pie and you can cut it into 30 and 10 pieces, 30% win and 10% lose a couple of times in a row, and then all of a sudden you feel like, you know, you win 3, you lose 1, you win 3, you lose 1. And it can seem like you're a lot better than what you are right now, but in the, like, at the end, it's going to even out. You know, if you look at the 100 pies, it's going to be even out. I mean, not 100, maybe 300, but you get the point, you know? And that's really how this idea works. That's how the framework works. And if you understand it, a lot of the problematic situations maybe make more sense. You can handle them better, you know, because it is about your team. I mean, your team does have a big impact, but you have to understand that there is a window for opportunity where you have impact and control. And that is what the skill of League of Legends is. And you have to accept this reality. I barely accepted it. If you go back and watch my, what was it? I don't remember the video, but I don't remember the video title, but I was so frustrated because I was just losing, you know. That is, it was very, I mean, it was just very difficult. If you're losing and losing and losing and losing, even though you're playing consistently, it seems like the game is punishing you for playing well, which it kind of is, you know? And that's difficult for the brain to wrap your head around. I think it was regression. The video regression, if you want to watch it. I was very frustrated. I could not understand how I'm losing this much, but 30, 30, 40, I didn't remember it. I mean, I did remember it, and it's like a belief. You have to literally believe in it, as if it was like some entity or whatever. Because that's actually how it works. If you look at my OPGG right now, you know, it's just how it works. I went down to gold 3. And I just got back up to platinum 4, where I was before. I'm almost at 50% win rate. It's like platinum 3 is my 50%. That's just what it is, you know? And yeah. This is a 30-30-40 rule. Maybe, hopefully I explained it in a way that you can understand it better. Okay? You have a good day. And yeah, enjoy.
You walk along the edge of danger, and it will change you. Why would you let this voice set in your head? It is meant to destroy you.